What's poppin', y'all? SZA recently came out and had one of the dumbest takes and one of the most uneducated and ignorant takes I've seen this year. And she would come out to say on her second profile and her first profile, but the first main profile was saying, just checked, and Music AI has trained off 238 of my songs. I'm certain some unreleased. You're certain. No, you're not certain. You have no idea. If you're a musician and you support this degenerate-ish, you're disgusting. And there's nothing you could ever say to make this okay. I hope you have the life you deserve. Well, frankly, not many people care. But the reason why this data... So this has been a trend. You can see it on X where someone put out this like open source thing where they're saying, hey, look, these popular music AI platforms like Suno and Udio, they trained off of music, obviously. It's every AI does that. Large language models did that as well. Not off of music, but here it's off of music and people can look themselves up and see their catalog or what from their catalog was used to train it. And two producers have not crashed out over this, but I believe Kato, the producer, was one of them, as well as Kenny Beats. He really took a stand on this. And from that perspective, I can understand someone's displeasure with having their work used to build up a company, really, that's making a ton of money. And I wouldn't say replace them, because if you think this can replace you, frankly, you just suck and you should get good. But SZA has been somebody that's been outspoken on AI even before this. And going back to earlier this year in an interview that she did with ID back in March, she said, I feel like I'm at war because of AI. She sings about it on Ghost in the Machine. Let's talk about AI. Robot got more heart than I. Robot got future. I don't. If you think this is the case, you just suck. Robot gets sleep, but I don't power down. In the years since she wrote those lyrics, artificial intelligence has overtaken our daily lives. So much so that AI-generated songs and artists are raking in real streaming numbers. Yeah, where are the major hits? Where are the performances? And how has AI really overtaken our daily lives? Frankly, most of this has been some of the most overrated stuff we've ever seen. We were talking about people are going to be writing books with this stuff. Where is the best-selling book? Where is the best-selling blog or top Substack that's written by AI? We were not seeing any of this. So I think a lot of this is fear-mongering, and things have gotten better. But animators, where is, animation, it costs a lot of money, and monetizing it is a lot more difficult than it once was. But we haven't seen some new AI animations that are creative, that aren't just copying something that we are already familiar with. So we haven't really seen it succeed in the way that they want us to believe it's going to succeed in the future. And she continued and said, it's happening disproportionately with black music. She said this in March, which is such a dumb thing to say, especially now, but she says it again. So at that time, it's just her intuition, which is fine in March. But when we get the data, it's not fine. So does she change her opinion? We'll see in a moment. Why am I hearing AI covers of Olivia Dean when Olivia Dean just came the F out? Well, you're hearing AI covers of every type of music imaginable. They're taking current songs if they were swing, current songs if they were jazz. They're doing all of these remixes and stuff, which the original artist is still claiming all of the revenue on that. So really it's just people using AI. If they're able to get views and streams on it, it's going to the original artist. So if the artist doesn't want it out there, they can also take it down. So the artist or the rights holder is fine with that as long as they collect the income, which some of it is being shared with the artist. She can't even collect the streams. Yes, she can collect the streams, you idiots. I'm also really offended by the type of black music that's coming out of AI. Weird, stereotypical struggle music. I don't know what the hell she was getting on here. I think it's really just the algorithm that she's trained. She's one of those people that it seems like they train their algorithm to enforce or to give them things that they can rage about because that's what they engage with most and spend the most time on. But after this whole data set thing came out, which directly goes against what she was saying, which is it's disproportionately happening to black artists because like I said, that guy Kato, the producer, and also Kenny Beats, one of them is Asian, one of them is white, and they had a bunch of stuff on there. It's affecting everyone, not disproportionately. Now you can say, well, they've produced for black artists, so that makes it black music. At that point, how far are we going to take this? But regardless, she says, I don't know who needs to hear this, but Diplo has, so she just takes aim at Diplo, has equity in Suno, which is the largest, I would say. Suno and UDO are the most popular ones. Timbaland, I believe he's partnered with Suno. So I don't know why she took a shot at Diplo instead of Timbaland, but I'm willing to say it's because Diplo's white, and we're going to see why in a little moment, and is actively attempting to train it on the best and brightest black minds of writers and producers. We make up 13% of the American population, yet influence the world with our sound and perspective. Also because of the American industry. Like, the industry is so powerful at getting music to spread. Well, I don't know about now because things have changed. A lot of local music scenes of all of these different countries have now gotten access, and they're listening to their own music because some of it is really just ripped off of popular American music. But things aren't the same as, let's say, like the 50s to the 2010s. I would say up until like 2017, American music dominated. You could say British as well to a little bit, dominated, and most of that was Black American music that dominated globally. I ain't heard a white AI song yet. What the hell is a white AI song? Please define that for us, SZA. What? And yes, there are. You just have to look them up and you will see plenty. Why so disproportionate? We have no protection in legislature, medical, or creative. What does this have anything to do with? Like, we're jumping over here. This is scatterbrained. The easiest to steal form. Do not give away your vibranium. Oh my goodness, this chick is a dunce. Do not train AI with your genius. Well, they already trained it without your permission. What are you going to do about it? F these weird vultures. I want smoke all summer. Now, the kind of smoke, she doesn't want smoke because she's the same individual that, because paparazzi took a picture of her and people were using that picture and posting it online, she decided to buy the rights to that picture and copyright strike and take down, basically eliminate that picture from the internet, which you can't fully eliminate it, but really reduce its visibility because she felt so insecure in that photo. She was also the same individual that was breaking down crying for days, unable to record or clear a record for Drake because academics was making fun of her. Oh yeah, this person doesn't want any war with anybody. But coming at Diplo would respond to this. But first, I want to address the whole artists fighting against this AI thing. LLMs, a lot of them train their material on writers. So whether it was people that wrote blog articles, people that wrote books, authors, fiction authors, fantasy authors, nonfiction authors, and for some reason, a lot of these artists, producers, musicians, they didn't come out to bat when that was a thing. It was only when it affected them in particular and their careers, which they believe it affects their careers, did they come out to the defense and say, oh, well, you guys actually got to come help us. No, I don't. Because you didn't care about authors. And frankly, writing a book takes a lot more time. Like, an author, even as prolific as they are, puts out far less books than a musician puts out music in their lifetime of career. It takes years to write a book. So if you guys weren't defending each other and you guys didn't hop on and say, yo, these LLMs like ChatGPT were trained on books and authors, and that's wrong. And me as a songwriter, I can relate to that and I can empathize with that type of situation, and I want to defend them. No, but now you want us to care about you. Well, I don't care about you, okay? How about that? And I guess that's a slight bit of where the frustration comes from me, because I think authors are justified to be upset. And this is a thing that all of these startups are going to do. It's ask or get permission later, or really solve it later. You know, like shoot first, ask questions later. So yeah, train it on all this stuff. And if we get hit with a lawsuit, hey, if we go bankrupt and this didn't work, well, we're not going to have to pay anything. And if we do succeed and we're a multi-billion-dollar company, we can afford a settlement, and we already trained it on everything. So you're not going to, it's like samples. And this is the thing. A lot of these artists, producers or whatever, they're like, yo, no sample snitching. Like, don't tell, like, we can use samples if we want, but another artist made that work and you didn't get their permission to put it out and earn money off of it. But this is a common thing in the quote unquote artist producer community, which is, nah, that should be allowed. Why should it be allowed? Because it serves them. That's all there is to it. That's the simplest explanation. And I'm somebody that enjoys samples. I'm not saying like, yo, you gotta not use samples, but if you're an artist that's coming up, you can't get the sample cleared. You don't even know where to start to get the sample cleared. You can't even afford the sample clearance. You can barely afford to put the song out and maybe get some promotion behind it. You can barely afford the material that you've got, the new studio equipment that you need. So I get it. But the Diplo point, Diplo would sound like he was in favor of AI in an interview that he did earlier this year with Daniel Wall.
Because you do need like the brand more than you need the voice.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even need a voice anymore. I can just get replay. I can get the best voice from AI. I don't need anybody to sing the song anymore. You're not going to win. Like there's no like fighting AI. There's literally like, you have to just work your best to be the best at it right now. There's like no, you can sit, you're wasting your time. It's like you're just wasting a year being like, because everybody else is going to just use it, not give a what you think.
It's kind of like when people started using samples or even
Exactly.
Splice.
There was a big mad about that Splice. People are like mad about that. Then like you have songs like Espresso that are like 2 Splice loops. Like do you even like what we are? It's proven every time that technology wins. Like the people's attitudes and the people's pushback always ages out pretty badly. You know, like you have to make it so that you understand the customer and the accessibility is what's always going to be triumphant. Like you're never going to be like, I'm going to choose the artistry and the hard work. You can talk that all you want. And some people will love that, but 99% of people are going to want to love like the best product, made the quickest, made the cheapest. That's what the American economy is. You know, we want to say we want healthy foods, but no, we want cheap. We want to have things quick. You know, and that's what music is also runs that same like golden hand of like the economy. It gets quick. In fact, I've had some voices that I'm like, when I make some stuff in AI, I'm like, damn, this is like, I couldn't even get this take out of like the best singer.
Wow.
Like, and it's like, I wouldn't have said that to you 3 months ago, but it just, the way it's changed in the last 3 months, like the advances in just the music side, I'm like, and I had this young producer over that I signed and I'm like, let's just like use Udio real quick just to like make some, you know, goth type beats or whatever. And we made like 3 like in 5 minutes. And he looks at me, he's like, I'm like done. I'm cooked, right? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Maybe. I don't know. And I kind of explained to him like, you know, I'm in a position now where I can use these tools really effectively because people already trust me for like my taste and what I do. But you have to like work your ass off to be the good producer.
Or do you think that people can develop that taste, then use AI to like turn their taste into actuality? Like,
I'll give you a good metaphor as a DJ. The best DJs right now are older than me. I used to think there was no career. I was like, yo, I don't want to be a DJ at 40. That's crazy. That's like whack. Like, that's like, it's a young thing. It's not, because the DJs that get older, our repertoire, our like knowledge of music is what makes us good. Then I realized, damn, being a DJ actually means having that vocabulary. That's when older guys that are like, you know, do like 5-hour sets and you're like, wow, I can sit there. This taking me through a journey. They're advanced because they have that knowledge. So my gift is that I came from like digging up old records, going house to house, passing out business cards. Like, yo, I can clean your garage for you. Like, let me like I was waking up at 5 a.m. going to flea markets, buying like, I was going to Sound Library, A1 Records in New York, like reading track. I was like stealing records from libraries, like looking at like who's writing on these records and like understanding who David Axelrod was, understanding who Carole, you know, King was, who the is bass player on this record is, like, why do they sound like this? Who produced this record? You know, what label is this? And then I'm like, I was like addicted to like the information. I was like, yeah, who's doing these records and these records? So that is what makes me, I think, good at using AI, because I know how to prompt something specifically to do like a time period, a producer, a sound. And like young people don't know that because they don't have that. They don't read liner notes like I did, or they don't read Wikipedia like I did and understand music. They kind of know like, oh, this artist is doing this or whatever. So I think there is a skill to it, but you have to have like knowledge. You have to have like a history.
So here, what Diplo is talking about is the inevitability of this tech. And he's just telling the truth. He's like, listen, you as an artist will never beat this. You cannot, because the consumer does not care. It's also like when they were trying to fight against streaming and they were like, no, like people like Taylor Swift and Jay-Z, they held back their catalogs. Every single one of them folded and put their catalogs on streaming. Streaming won. The tech won, because me and you and everybody else that's a consumer, we are not going to inconvenience ourselves and go out of our way to pay an artist or like go to every single individual artist and support them when we already see them as rich. That's also another thing about it. When there's this tech that makes it so much easier, so much cheaper and convenient for us. So the tech won. And again, here, the tech will win. But like I said, I think it's largely overrated. And here, Diplo is saying that, listen, I'm using this thing. And I actually do have a story of a friend who uses this or tries to use this. And all the artists, and he works with a successful artist that's had songs that have done tens of millions of streams, 100 million streams plus overall, 2 different individuals. And both of them say that it's good, but it doesn't match up to what they could do on their own. And they also say that the more that they use it, the more that they can recognize songs that came from it, from just like pattern recognition. Like, hey, this kind of sounds like it came from Suno or Udio because they've used it so often. Now, the vocals that Diplo was talking about, that makes a lot of sense. Like using somebody's vocals or getting vocals from somebody is probably very hard, especially if you're a producer. And this allows you to be more creative because instead of wasting your time and trying to reach out to who knows how many female vocalists to get one on your track, you can just use female vocals from this site or male vocals if you want them, and then you can now make a song. Although you may have probably produced the song yourself, written the song yourself, and just needed it to add that. But Diplo would respond to the take by SZA and the accusation where she says this guy owns a stake in Udio, and he would reply and let her know that she's a goofy and a fool. Now, he didn't say that specifically, but he says the following. Last I checked, AI apps trained over 500 songs I made. That sucks. But if one gets big, I'll claim my writing. Every artist will have that opportunity. What AI can't do is train on songs I am going to make. And we need to keep pushing it forward, not looking backwards. These AI models are remaking the same ish over and over. I'm always trying to make something I haven't heard before. And he also says, I'm definitely not an equity investor, and there are 100 apps that can do what Suno does. A young kid can even make their own app, AI music app with Claude. The villain isn't the tech. Technology is just technology. So you lied on this man. Try to throw it on him when Timbaland is the person that's actually with Suno if you wanted to come at somebody, but she's not coming at Timbaland. Now, are we going to get an apology to Diplo from SZA? Because you definitely owe him an apology for painting him out to be this villain, but I don't think we're going to get that. Because SZA just has this huge ego where she thinks that she knows everything. Well, she's just impulsively reacting. She's like a boomer. Like these boomers, they see an IG reel and they just believe what's on it and they get angry about it. That's what she's doing with music. And where is somebody that has been helped by this? Well, Diplo tells a story. And he says, in this article, Pedestrian TV, they were the ones that got this statement from Diplo. He says, an unauthorized dance remix of the reggae band's 2019 song, the song is Stick Figures, Angels Above Us, recently went viral, becoming the #1 most downloaded song in almost every single song in Europe, and the #2 most Shazammed song globally. The AI remix sucked, but it blew his song up, and he got his vocal on it, and his listeners went from a few thousand to millions in a week. Then David Guetta remixed it. I helped him navigate through that because if you're a creator, then you'll get paid for being used on the LLM. You just need to be literate about it and proactive. And he says, if SZA uses the apps without copyright protection, she will be completely freaked out. It's even higher quality and it's going to get impossible to decipher what's real or not. Suno and Udio are old to the kids using AI. The next ones are scary. So here we have Diplo, somebody that has been in the music industry and has been producing hits and has been at the top for longer than SZA has been making music, most likely. Instead of shutting up and listening to him with an open mind, or maybe reaching out to him and speaking to him, she decides to paint him as this sort of a villain, which he's not. And here is an instance where he helped somebody so this guy, this artist, Stick Figure Music, they're making a ton of money now, and Diplo aided them in being able to claim that money from some remix that sucked, that was made by AI. So how many people has SZA helped directly? How many people has Diplo signed, even before this AI stuff? How many people has Diplo signed and put on and given opportunities to make a bag? Well, we're talking Riff Raff, hell, countless names you could come up with. How many people has SZA done that for? So SZA's really just concerned about herself, and that's fine and all, but we are not concerned with you. And don't try to paint this man as a villain unfairly and incorrectly spreading misinformation on him, which he's not an investor in this, but he is using the tools and learning from them. And that's the thing, like I said on X, and I've been talking about this so much, is that how do you know something's AI? And if you think you know, then you really have no idea how good these things are and how good they're getting. But it will always be about taste. It's like singers, right? Does the best singer become the most famous person? You remember why Susan Boyle from the auditions, what was it, like X Factor, Britain's Got Talent or something like that? She ended up having a career, but she had one of the greatest voices, but the appearance wasn't there to match. The appearance wasn't marketable to the people that were going to be her fans. And that's just unfortunate because that was the card that she was dealt. But if it was just about talent or just about voice, then Susan Boyle would be doing well, because just link her up with some songwriters and some producers if she couldn't write. Yet it's not that. The bottleneck, the limiting factor for her becoming a superstar, despite how much visibility that she got during that time, unfortunately, was her appearance. It just didn't match what people wanted to get behind and support in an artist. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see y'all in the next one.